Hello everyone, you are watching Square Triangle Mouse, and today I'm going to show you in this video how to win the One City Challenge in Civilization 6 on Deity difficulty. So of course winning with just one city is always harder, but even on the maximum difficulty there is a way in which it is actually not so tough. So what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to teach you the settings that you need, and then I'm going to show you how the game works. I will load a game in which I achieved this one city challenge, and I will show you how it's done. Basically, my main idea here, the main thing that you want to know when you start working on the one city challenge, when you start, challenging yourself to win Civilization 6 with just one city, is that the easiest victory to achieve with only one city will be the diplomatic victory. You need the Gathering Storm expansion, of course, to have it, and it's really easy. Or well, I'm not going to say it's really easy, but it's not so hard to do it with just one city if you manage your economy well and you get more or less an isolated start. You can do other things, okay? If you pick here, let's say Peter from Russia, maybe you can get a religious victory. With France, sometimes you can achieve a cultural victory with just one city. You just need to wander a lot, like building every single wonder you can, because you get extra tourism from that with France. And if you play with someone like Korea, for example, Seondok in Korea, you might be able to win a scientific victory using a lot of espionage and so on. There are strategies to win other victories with just one city, but you always need a map that is very, very favorable. So a lot of times you will end up starting a game, playing a bunch of turns in that game, and then around turn 100 or 150 you realize that the map was simply not good enough, and that you won't be able to catch up with just one city, and that you are not going to be able to win. So if you're only beginning to play these one city challenges, I would say those attempts will be probably a bit frustrating, and it's easier to just go with the diplomatic victory. And the diplomatic victory with Harald can be a bit easier to achieve if we go with an archipelago map. Okay, so this is another part. This is a combination actually. Harald plus archipelago is a strong combination in general, and it's particularly good for this one city challenge attempt. So we know that with Harald we have this ancient unit that replaces the galley, the Viking longship, and it can pillage enemy coastal lands and capture civilian units. It has a lot of movement, and with Harald in general, your naval units can enter the ocean after you research the shipbuilding technology. So you can explore the ocean a lot faster than you would with anyone else. That's what makes Harald so good. Playing with the Maori and archipelago can also give you a good result. But there is one specific thing that makes Harald a bit more fun for these. Also, I recommend small size, by the way, but the aspect that will make Harald a bit more fun is that if you have the New Frontiers expansion pack, you can turn on the Dramatic Ages mode, and that makes the game more fun in this particular case, because if you have only one city, the negative aspect of the Dramatic Ages mode will not affect you. You will not be losing cities because of the Dramatic Ages mode. You will not be caring about loyalty issues because you only have one city. So you don't get any of the difficulties from the Dramatic Ages mode, and the AI will lose some cities. This means you will see more free cities than usual. In an archipelago map, of course, the AI will struggle to reconquer some of these cities that they lose. So they might remain free cities for the rest of the game, and that makes things a lot of fun when you're pairing with Harald, because you can always pillage those free cities, you can always steal builders from them. so it's more fun to play. Especially we have to keep in mind that the One City Challenge is a rather passive game. That's why I didn't record a full game of One City Challenge, because I realized that it's a bit passive. You only have one city. A lot of times you're just skipping turns. But if you're playing with Harald and you have some free cities with this dramatic edges mode, you always have something to do with your naval units. So that can make the whole thing a bit more fun in general. However, if you don't have the New Frontiers Pass, that's fine, you don't need it. Harald is still very good on Archipelago, so I still recommend him. Probably the Maori will be just as good if you don't have the Dramatic Edges mode turned on. And I recommend the small map, only 6 players, because that way it's a bit easier to guess what the AI will vote in the Congress, and every now and then you will get additional diplomatic victory points just from guessing what they're going to go for and getting those points. So I will go into, yeah, I think this is so, I'm not forgetting anything. No, I'm not forgetting anything. So I will go right into a game that I already won with this strategy. I will go to the final turn of the game and I will show you here how this strategy works with the full map, so you can see it. Here you already see I only have this one city, and I'm going to show you exactly how this works. So while the game loads, which in Civilization 6, even if I have an SSD drive, it can take a little bit to load, I will tell you a few of the things that you need to consider. Especially trying to guess what the AI will go for. Try to learn what they tend to vote for. For example, they usually prefer, when you can vote whether producing units is cheaper or more expensive, they prefer cheaper. Gold or production are their favorite options there. So if you put several votes into gold or production for cheaper units, you are probably going to get the diplomatic victory point from that vote. You are probably going to guess it right. There are a few more that they tend to repeat. And then in the late game, when you have more diplomatic favors than everyone else, you can just force those votes. Just put a lot of votes into that and force them. Keep in mind that once you have 14 diplomatic victory points, the AI will vote against you in the votes to win diplomatic victory points. We can see it right here. They will always, when you have 14 or more victory points in the diplomatic victory points rank, they want you not to win, so they will vote for you to lose. So what you have to do is, because you cannot beat all of them together, right? So what you have to do here is basically just vote for the same thing. They are all going to do it. You cannot beat them all. So you just vote with them. You don't lose any diplomatic favors, of course, you don't need to. And so you win one vote because you guessed this right. Okay, this will start happening, remember, once you have 14 diplomatic victory points. This is not only for One City Challenge, of course, it's for every diplomatic victory win that you attempt, but it's particularly important that you don't lose time in the One City Challenge because you're going to be very slow. So remember to do that. That way you win one and you therefore only lose one here. And then other things I have been doing here, because I already have a lot of diplomatic favors, more than everyone else, I started to put a lot of points here in these decisions just to make sure that I was going to win. See, oh, look at that. They voted to make this cheaper. This is the one I was telling you before. Cheaper units with gold, but I wasn't even risking it anymore at the end of the game. I was just using my diplomatic favors because I had a lot of them. And so how did I get so many diplomatic favors with only one city? Well, that is a part that I'm going to explain you right now with the map. But before we get deep into it, please, if you like this kind of strategy games with specific strategies being explained, please hit the like button in the video. I know this is annoying, all YouTubers do it, but it's just because the YouTube algorithm really likes the stuff, and for small channels like mine, it really helps. So yeah, that being said, Let's explain what I was doing here with Nidaros. You can see here it's my only city. For the start of the game, one thing you want to have is probably one island just for yourself. You can see here there is a city-state to the south, but no one can really early rush me because there is no other civilization in my island. This is a thing that if you keep restarting on archipelago maps with a small map, you won't need a lot of restarts. If you don't get it the first time, maybe the second or the third time, you will get a map that gives you this, and that's it. That's probably the only thing you are going to need to win this. That's why it's a lot easier than other options. You don't need to restart a bunch of times looking for the perfect map. Any map in which you start completely isolated from the other civilizations, of course, you don't care about city-states. Any map in which they cannot do an early rush against you is going to be a good map. You simply want to stay peaceful all game long. That's the only thing you have to consider. So what did we do here? We rushed some wonders. Okay, of course you want the Statue of Liberty in every game that you are going to go for a diplomatic victory, and if you can get Potala Palace, that is great. Keep in mind that you need hills next to a mountain to build the Potala Palace, so if you roll a map that doesn't have any hills next to a mountain, that's probably a map that you want to restart, okay, because you want to try to get Potala Palace. If possible, it will make your victory a lot easier. Another thing that you want for the one city challenge, almost with any type of victory, is the Colossus. The Colossus gives you another trade route, which is very good because we only have one city. That's only 2 trade routes by default. With the Colossus is 3, and then I got one great admiral, I think, that gave me with the retirement action, he gave me another trade route. Okay, a lot of great admirals, well, not a lot of them, but I think 2 or 3 of them will give you an extra trade route if you retire them, because you are never going to war. You are going to retire most of your great admirals, which you will be getting, because you will be getting the AI is very slow at building harbors, so you will be getting those guys with your harbor and your lighthouse and your everything, your shipyard and so on in the harbor. You're going to be getting some nice great admiral points, especially with Pingala in the city, which is the governor you want to have for your one city challenge. Always Pingala. And of course the only other governor that we can use is our dear friend Amani. I don't remember where I sent her actually. Hunza. Yeah. Okay, so here in Hunza I got her because Hunza is giving me more gold in my trade routes, and of course for diplomatic victories you want quite a lot of gold, so Hunza is a pretty good one. You're going to get different city-states in every game. It doesn't really matter. You want to suzerain the best ones with luxuries probably, so you don't have to care about happiness. Eventually you will get your water park, but you will not have a lot of tiles, so you will probably not be able to build an entertainment complex. That's why you want luxuries, because until the water park arrives, your amenities can be low if you don't have a lot of luxuries in your one city challenge game. So what other wonders do we want? Well, here I got the mausoleum because it improves my coastal tiles, so of course the mausoleum is very nice. I only got Chichen Itza because I could and I had nothing else to build here. Chichen Itza is actually not important. I just got to a point in which I had nothing to build. It will happen a lot actually in the one city challenge around turn 150, between 150 and 200. You will enter some moments in the game in which you have nothing really good to build. But the important ones here, we have the Apadana. That's very nice in every one city challenge because it also allows you to keep more great works. But especially for the envoys, of course, and then Kilwa again. We are talking about envoys here. Let's remember what these two will do for you. So, oops, sorry about that. The Apadana gives you 2 envoys when you build a wonder, including the Apadana in the city. I got a bunch of wonders in this city after the Apadana, so I got a bunch of envoys. And then you're always going to be building a lot of wonders in your one city challenge. And then with Kilwa, +3 envoys with build, and also more boost to suzerains, which obviously we ended up being suzerain of every city-state in the game, so this was very good. Kilwa and Apadana, very good wonders, because you want to be suzerain of as many city-states as possible to get more luxuries, to get more resources. Keep in mind that you don't have a lot of land, so you will never have a lot of resources. Here, I don't know which strategic resources I actually have. Horses. That's about it. I had horses and nothing else. We got niter apparently from city-states, and that was all of the resources that I could get in terms of strategic resources. Luxuries, we had marble, we had amber, and that was pretty much it. You can see here no pearls, no turtles. So yeah, we really needed city-states. With Kilwa, with the Apadana, with so many wonders making the Apadana so much better, we ended up having a lot of envoys, also duplicating envoys here with Amani. And so as you can see here, I ended up being suzerain of all the city-states that were left in the game. The AIs, of course, conquered some city-states, but I am suzerain of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 city-states. So pretty good stuff. And quite uncontested. You can see here I have another 5 envoys free that I didn't even need when the game was won. So pretty good stuff. That's why Kilwa and the Apadana were so good. Okay, what else did I build here? Well, you're going to need the theater square for some culture. You can see here at the end I had some almost decent culture generation. I mean, it's turned 288, so 214% is actually not so great, but it's not so awful. Science is pretty low, but this will always happen in your one city challenge. That's why the scientific victory is a bit difficult. You have to use your spice really well if you want to win scientific victory in one city challenge. We have a nice campus here with a couple of mountains giving adjacency. And I ended up building ski resorts here, even though I didn't need them, just because you can see here I have a lot of builders doing absolutely nothing. They are just hanging out. Look at that, in this island, this guy is taking a holidays in Marble Island, just because he has nothing to do. So yeah, more builders here with nothing to do at all. Oh look, I could have gotten honey. I completely missed that, but I think I actually have honey nonetheless, from some city-states or some trades. Yeah, we seem to have quite a lot actually. So yeah, I was trading luxuries with the AI as well, trying to keep everyone happy. We got alliances, of course, for the diplomatic win. With the alliances and being suzerain of city-states, I got a lot of diplomatic favors, and that's how I got more diplomatic favors than everyone else combined. These guys, some of them were fighting each other, like here. If you are alone in your island, there is a very big chance that the AIs are not alone in their islands. Here, the Aztecs and the Polish, you can see here that they fought each other quite a lot. We have here an Aztec city belonging to Poland, for example. And there was some fighting at some point, I think, between the Mapuche and the Ottoman Empire. And in general, the AI is not very good at playing archipelago maps because they don't move their units around the ocean very well. So that's what makes them slower, and that's what makes this configuration easier for the one city challenge. Okay. And so what else happened? These cities were free cities at some point in it. No, sorry, not these ones. I think these two ones here were free cities at some point in the game. Eventually the Russian managed to conquer them back. But we can see here an Aztec city that the Aztecs could never conquer back. And I just kept coming here. You can see this armada is mine, and stealing builders just for fun. Another thing you can do in these archipelago maps, I don't know if there are any outposts left, no. But at some point I think there was a barbarian outpost here, and what you can do is you bring your range units, your range naval units, you kill all of the barbarian units, and then because you're Norway you can pillage with any melee naval unit, so you bring your melee naval unit next to the barbarian outpost and you can pillage the empty outpost and you get the gold from it that way. Also, maybe if it's close enough to your city, like if it was here, I could maybe get even era points from pillaging that outpost. So yeah, but at least at 30 gold you can always get that gold with that. Okay, so the trade route for the gold, as you can see, and we are getting also gold from the AI, from selling their stuff, because I'm getting a lot of resources from the city-states and I'm selling them to the AI because I'm never building units. I built some of them just to get the era points, And also because at the end of the game I had nothing to do with my gold. I had so much gold. I just started buying units, you know, just to get new units with new resources, and some of these actually gave me Eurekas, like having a couple of field cannons gives you an inspiration, a couple of bombards also gives you, I think, a Eureka. Killing someone with a musketman, I think, gives you a Eureka as well. So I did it for the Eurekas too, and I did it for city-state missions to get more envoys with the city-state missions. You can just buy your units. Okay, use your gold to buy units. That's totally fine. So you don't have to use production. Use your production for your wonders. You can see here lots and lots of wonders. Okay, we have Statue of Liberty, Colossus, Kilwa, Padana, even Chichen Itza, which wasn't necessary, the Mausoleum, and the Potala Palace. That is a lot of wonders for just one city. Eventually I got the industrial zone, but it wasn't a huge priority, although it helps with production. And of course you buy the buildings, you buy the library, you buy the university, you buy the workshop, you buy the factory. You just buy all of the buildings with gold whenever possible. Okay, I didn't use a lot of production for buildings. I bought, if not all of them, I would say like 90% of them, but maybe all of them. I don't remember exactly, but it could have been that I bought with gold every single building in this game, and almost every unit. I built a few of them at the beginning of the game because it was necessary to explore, but that was it. Later on I just bought them. Eventually you are going to have a lot of gold and nothing to spend. Here eventually I built as well the diplomatic quarter. Remember that the chancery gives you a little bit more of everything once you get more technologies, so it's kind of nice to have it. Also more diplomatic favors and so on. And eventually also finally the water park to solidify my happy status here, my ecstatic status. Look at that, 21 out of 10. But when you get a lot of city-states, their luxuries will really help. So that's how you do it, guys. Try to guess their votes. In a small map it's not so difficult to guess their votes. Put a few of your own votes to guarantee that, and make sure you always win the aid requests. Okay, this is the main thing that you're going to want your money for. But as you can see here, in a small map there are not so many people participating. Apparently Suleiman was at war with Peter, and Lautaro, I guess he was at war with Peter too. So yeah, in these small maps there won't be so many competitors, and so you don't need a lot of money to win. I overspent here a lot, but you can win. Just make sure that 1 or 2 turns before the end you are like 200 gold. If you have a 200 gold margin 1 or 2 turns before the competition is over, you should win every time. So don't give them anything, just wait until there are 2 or 3 turns left, start giving them, and when there are only 1 turn left, just make sure you are 200 gold above everybody else, and you will win, and you will get the 2 diplomatic victory points. So that is great. And I won, I think, 2 or 3 of these, and that's how I got the victory a bit faster. And you can see here what's going on here. I have 18 diplomatic victory points, and I'm going to win this one here because there are 0 turns left. So next turn I'm just going to win. That's how you do it. Okay, you get a lot of gold from your trade routes and selling resources. I didn't build horsemen at the beginning of the game. I was just selling all of the horses to get a lot of money, just to make sure my treasure was always good. And play for diplomacy. I have you know, all of the promotions here in Amani. I don't need these last 2 in Pingala, so I don't care about them. I don't need tourism. I'm not going for that kind of victory. So it's fairly easy. It looks like I'm not going to get a golden age here, but I did get a lot of golden ages throughout the game. Most of them actually were golden ages, because with one city, even in with the dramatic era mode, it's a lot easier to reach that golden age thing. And those golden ages can allow you to have better trade routes, to have more gold, and that will also help you quite a lot. So if you have the dramatic ages mode working, this is going to be even easier. And that's what allows me to have so many units as well. But you don't really need all of that. Okay, you don't need to make it so easy. As this game was fully peaceful all game long. No one ever attacked me, so I didn't have any issues in that regard. And so yeah, that's the game. As you can see, a lot of builders that I just got for fun. I didn't have anything better to do with them, so I just kept them here walking around. And yeah, if you have any specific questions, say them in the comments below as usual. Please hit the like button, and we can see here what happens when I hit next turn. Oh yeah, some rock bands. The A is trying to win, but they usually don't win before turn 300, so if you can win around turn 300, you should be okay. Especially in archipelago, because they are slower in archipelago maps. They are not very good here. And so that's it. You can see here the victory screen. As I told you, diplomatic victory with just one city, with Norway. A lot easier than it would be if I had gone for another type of victory with other civilizations. You don't need to regenerate the map so many times. You don't need the absolute perfect map. Any half decent map in which you start with an isolated Norway is going to be good enough. So give it a shot. It's quite a fun way to play the One City Challenge, especially if you have the New Frontiers Pass with the Dramatic Ages mode. It makes the game really fun if you're playing this One City Challenge that it's otherwise a bit, it can get a bit boring if you do other type of games. So try this one. I think you will have fun. I certainly did have fun playing Norway like this. And yeah, please hit the like button, subscribe and all. You know the deal, right? I just want the channel to grow. So thank you very much for watching.